A really good first step to truly engaging a child's mind is to start with the big idea. By the end of this video, you should have a series of universal ideas related to your discipline, and others for that matter, which can allow fertile ground for studying something of interest, engaging students' minds. And when the class shares all their interpretations of a big theme, the resulting discussion generates deeper understanding. For example, a history teacher may do a unit on the big idea of conflict. This is a universal idea that A, students can relate to it. They have conflict all the time. B, it's general enough to apply to a whole series of important people, places, and events that a history teacher would hope to talk about. And C, because of the abundance of potential projects, students can find their interest and be motivated to learn more. Students interested in the Revolutionary War, for example, they can study that. Students interested in the Civil War can do that. World War I, they can do that. It doesn't matter. They're studying conflict. And when it's all tied together and all shared, a deeper understanding of that big idea comes into play, especially if students have the opportunity to discuss their own conflicts in life. They'll start to sympathize, perhaps, with the people you want to talk about in history. Imagine a science teacher who does a unit on structure. Now, a student interested in the atom, they can study that. If you're interested in genetics, a student can study DNA, the structure of DNA. A student interested in the human body can look at the structure of the nervous system. And as a result of the study of the multitude of structures, we compact intensity of all that knowledge together into a big idea, which makes our understand deeper. It's like taking all this information and putting in a large folder with a single idea on it. We file it away and we understand it. Now imagine an art teacher or a music teacher who focuses on patterns and processes as big ideas. Composition of any kind can be broken down into a variety of patterns and processes. A student interested in sonata form, if that happens in a music class, if that comes up, they can study that pattern or that process. If a student mentions Cubism or whatever, American style art, they may not even know the name of it. They just may like it. You might have to guide them. But they can look at those processes and patterns. A student interested in songwriting, they can study patterns in chords and progressions, processes of putting chords together. And now here's an important part. It doesn't matter what students choose under that umbrella or big idea, because the lifelong skills of investigation and creation are learned. No matter what they choose, they're going to have to identify, investigate, analyze, synthesize, create, revise, refine, and on and on and on. And students get to do this in an area of their own choice, an area of interest. So when this video is complete, why don't you take a minute to look at the units that you've taught? Zoom out. What is the big idea? What is really being taught? How can you shrink all material or different kinds of material into larger categories and give students choice on the order in which they learn things? Or what is learned altogether? Make a list of these big ideas and be sure that students can relate to them, that they're general enough to apply to a variety of interests and levels of sophistication, and allows you as a teacher to discuss the key information, knowledge, and skills needed for students in your discipline to be educated in that discipline.